SAIS was the place I always wanted to teach.
After all, this is an international school, and it's a school that has one base in Washington, one in China, and one in Italy.
We have a very distinctive identity, very distinctive student body.
The language requirements, the economic requirements are pretty serious.
SAIS can be very rigorous, but at the same time, it can be very fulfilling and enjoyable.
I just found the classes absolutely amazing.
So many of my professors are people who are leaders in their fields.
That's something I very much like about the professors. They're both professors as well as being active in the field.
And I believe in SAIS you get a holistic kind of training with the kind of professors that we have.
The SAIS curriculum is unique. It's a blend of international relations, economics, American foreign policy, language, and regional studies. It demands a lot, and it gives a lot.
We're not getting any answers in class. We're not coming out with Excel spreadsheets or white papers that say, yes, this is how to solve the problem in Iraq or in Afghanistan or in Africa.
I couldn't reconcile how he...
The practical skills here that you learn at SAIS help you do that, but ultimately it's up to you to sort of push the envelope and look for that yourself.
Roman Empire, what is the mission?
Giving a presentation in Professor Cohen's class is a very intense experience, I'd have to say. He pulls out of us our personal feelings and opinions about questions that don't necessarily have answers.
Part of what a good teacher has to do, I think, is to read body language and see when somebody has something to say and they're actually ready to say it, but on their own initiative they're not quite likely to jump in or to put up their hand, and then it's your job to draw them out. That it's okay to disagree with the teacher, it's okay to disagree with one another, and you can still be civilized about it.
There's a real synergy among the faculty. Doesn't mean they all agree with each other at all. In fact, there are some very hearty disagreements. But the fact that we are a permanent faculty, we are the SAIS faculty, means that we have a very strong commitment to the institution, to the program, and to its development over time.
It is all about for your country, but that's...
SAIS students work hard. Texting and web surfing won't teach you how the world works. Case studies, research papers, practical exercises, and books will.
It's very inspiring, and it's obviously incredibly useful.
It's a curriculum that forces any student who comes here to reach, and that's a good thing.
You know, the seed is planted to continue your own self-education and to continue to look for solutions.
It really reflects what you're going to have to do in the real world afterwards.
Being in Washington, D.C., it's really, if you want to have an impact on international relations, it's the place you have to be. There's nowhere else where you can walk across the street and have one of the biggest think tanks, where you can jump on the Metro line and be at the State Department, be at Capitol Hill, be at the Pentagon. There were so many options.
The students have access to both Congress and White House and the discussions and debates around policy, but they also have access to some of the best cultural institutions in the world.
People have myriad experiences, whether working in government, NGOs, a lot of international students. And you put them all together, and it's just a really neat mix of people.
Actually, diversity of the student body was one of the main factors in my decision to go into SAIS. And 1.5 years after I started my career at SAIS, I think it's probably the aspect that I cherish the most.
Being in the United States, I have been exposed to more information about Africa, not necessarily just Kenya, but also other parts of Africa.
Students at SAIS, I would say they come with a specific mission in mind. We all share that mission, which is acquiring the skills that we need so that we become better leaders and we go out there and change the world.
One of the questions that always comes up is, what is it that's special about the Bologna Center? And I think there really are several very important reasons why it has functioned for as long as it has and done as well as it has. First among them is the deep connection between Bologna and Washington. Half of all SAIS MA students spend their first year in Bologna and then move on to Washington. Therefore, the course offerings are carefully integrated. At the same time, spending a year at each campus exposes students to contrasting perspectives on global issues. In effect, they participate in a rich debate over the 2 years, and it deepens their understanding of the world.
At the Bologna Center, we combine the best of two different worlds. You have the old world, Europe, with all its continental traditions, and you have an American graduate institution. So I can't think of anything better if you are interested in international affairs.
What the United States does or doesn't do does affect just about everybody in every corner of the world. And the study of American foreign policy has always been at the heart of what the SAIS experience has been about.
Being in the middle of Europe with proximities to Brussels, Paris, London, the centers of power in Europe, we get to really have a unique appreciation for where Europe is going and how it will act on the global stage in the future.
The professors in the European program have a very close connection with their students, and they help us foster relationships that will last into our future careers.
When we're not studying, I've gotten to go on some great runs with my roommates. The landscapes you get when you're exercising outside in Bologna is like nothing you'll ever get in the States.
There are 100,000 students at the University of Bologna, and they influence the life of the city. And the life of the city is one of the great attractive elements for those students of ours who come here.
The opportunity to study international relations in a European setting, surrounded by 190 students from 30 different nationalities, and with the opportunities to travel around Europe and the Middle East, the opportunity to come to Bologna was just too good to be true.
It's really important if you're a school of international studies to be international, to expose students to different settings, different ways of life, different modes of thinking. And the campuses in Nanjing and Bologna do just that.
He's a guy after my own heart. I mean, we stay up until all hours of the night talking about different trends and cultural differences that we have, which is always a lot of fun.
I really like the theories of international relations courses because our professor, he's a really cool guy. He's so smart. He would say, I won't pretend I know it. And if you get confused after class, that's natural because everything, you can't have the answer. You just search for the answer.
Getting used to taking all my classes in Chinese it's not an easy task. I'm just happy because I've got Sue to help me out, and his economics knowledge is far greater than mine.
Oh, I'm flattered.
I think it's a kind of academic experience that's really unlike any on a campus in the United States.
What it boils down to is that SAIS is a hugely stimulating environment. It's a great school, it's a fantastic education. It gives people the chance to broaden their horizons and at the same time take the basic knowledge that they have to a higher level.
At SAIS, I would say not only are you making real friendships with people that you actually like to hang out with, but also these are amazing professional contacts.
The key players in international relations, foreign policy, journalism, defense, they are coming through the doors of SAIS on a regular basis.
I find myself running into people from SAIS almost wherever I go, the Pentagon, the State Department, Capitol Hill.
And look at this, 30 years later, plus I'm still here in Washington, and I think that's a direct result of the 2 fabulous years I had at SAIS.
Unusually for a graduate school, your students stay in touch. And you stay in touch with them. You know, we tend to travel all over the world, and when we do, there's always one of our students at the other end.